Hi, welcome to the CaLew Perspective here. Hi, John. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Harold?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking. It's good to
Great.
have you guys here.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Today's topic, we're going to talk about passions in life.
Passions in
Yeah,
life.
I think that's
Oh,
a great, I
okay.
mean, when you talk about passions,
Yeah.
I think you think about what is it that you're most excited about in life
In
in
life.
general.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
I think it changes too when you're, as you go through life,
yes.
your passions will change.
Okay.
I don't think we have the same passions that we did when we were younger. So, but maybe we do, right?
No,
Some
no.
of them we might have.
It could vary. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that going up and down in a sense, things that you sort of goes back to sort of what you were saying about uh, changing.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, you may be passionate about. Let's say you're passionate about race cars,
Oh yeah.
and suddenly by the time you get older, that is no longer your passion in a sense, that is
Changes.
something else.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
again, it could be that your passion for race cars grew not only into that, but
Do
grew into
more.
collecting
Okay. Yeah.
cars and exotic cars and things like that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
those are kind of
No, I
things
mean,
that.
that's like, so just for me, yes, 100%. I think when growing up out of high school, that time was like when the import cars were getting real big, Hondas and things like
Yeah.
that. So we had a lot of Hondas, had a little Honda Civic, right? And just, we did stupid stuff. Like,
Did you work on cars at all?
we did.
You did?
Well, I won't say worked. We modified them a little bit.
Okay, so that's kind
And
of like working on
we
cars. I
worked
mean,
on it a little bit. Yeah, I had a,
pull out engines, or
didn't do an engine like you did with your
I did that.
Corona.
I did.
I didn't pull out an engine.
I hate when you find extra parts that you don't have to put
You're
back.
like,
Yeah,
trash.
I'll
I'll just save it for another day, and if I need it, I'll have it. No, I did. What did I do? So I had a little '99 Honda Civic. Put a
Okay.
turbo kit on it.
Okay. Oh,
That was
you
fun.
did.
Put a little turbo kit on it.
And
It was
did it?
fast. It was fun, and I blew up the motor.
Oh, okay. So it blew the
Yeah,
engine.
I blew it up myself.
Oh, okay.
Kind of my fault though. It was when I was changing oil, and I didn't do the right thing. So it got hot. So the on the oil filter, the little silicone ring gasket actually seized against the block.
Oh, jeez.
So when I took it off, but I didn't take off that ring. So when I put on the next filter, there was a gap.
Yes. Okay.
And all the oil spilled out. I was like driving down the freeway, and all of a sudden I just see a bunch of smoke, and I hear the motor go. I'm like, oh shoot, the motor's gone. And then I looked at it, and I was like, oh, I did not do the seal. I didn't check to make sure all the seal material was off. So blew the motor.
Oh boy!
But I got a bigger motor from a better car. And
so, do you still feel kind of like passionate about that kind of thing?
It's different now, right? Different. Like I think when I was younger, my friends and I would make the time to actually work on the car.
Okay.
So we would have all the tools, and we would be stupid. We would get under, we'd put it on jack stands, get under, start working on it, right? And now the cars that we have, I'm like, I don't really want to work on the car anymore.
Okay.
I'd like to have a car like that, but I don't want to work on it anymore, right? I will pay to have somebody work on it for me now because I can afford to.
Okay.
Luckily. But yeah, I got, let's see, like in 2005, I had a 2005 Subaru Legacy GT.
Nice.
Had the turbo 4 motor. Luckily, that never blew up. But I sold it to a college kid in like 2012. So I had it for like good 7 years.
Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun little car. I used to tinker with that thing all the time. And then sold it to that kid. And then I actually tried to get that same car back many years later.
Okay.
And I found the guy's number, email or something. Somehow I found him. And he's like, yeah, sorry, man, I sold the car to another member of the, there's a legacy forum. So I sold it to another member. Reached out to that other person.
You really?
I did. I was like trying to get this car back. And then that person was like, sorry, man, the motor blew up and there was a hole in the block.
Oh my God.
And then I junked the car. So I was like, I don't have the car. No one has a car and it's in the junkyard now. So it's gone. So that was a bummer.
Wow.
But couple years, it's been a couple years, year and a half, 2 years now.
Okay.
I got I was going to buy, I told him, I was like, I'm going to buy a vehicle. I was either going to get like a Honda Civic from back in my youth.
Okay.
And I was just thinking of that. But then like the prices at that time, 2 years ago was like astronomical for what I wanted. I wanted like a Honda Civic SI, 99. People wanted like 12 grand for a Honda Civic, 99. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of damn money. And I was going to do it. And then I remembered I saw a post from another guy who had a Legacy from 2008 Legacy GT Spec B, the one that I really wanted at the time, but couldn't afford because I was like the top. And I worked with him. That car had been sitting for a little bit, still good condition, great motor, but ended up negotiating with him, got the car. So I've had the car for about a year and a half, 2 years now. 2 years, I think it is. But it's been a solid car. I don't work on it. I refuse to work on it, but I will pay somebody to work on it. Yeah. So
the passion kind of changed in that length of time from then to
okay. And also too, like you got to remember when I owned the cars new, that was a different time. I was young. I wasn't used to convenience, right? I wasn't used to having like the creature comforts of the modern vehicles. I didn't care. And then, when you're older, going back to those same cars, you're like, man, this is super basic. And it's like, they're economy cars.
Okay.
I'm sitting in a nice car that I have now, right? A luxury car. It doesn't compare to the old,
Right.
Like it's like going back in time. You think it's a great idea, but then you go back and you're like, it was a 2005 kind of thing or 1999 kind of thing. You're like, it needs to stay there. But I'm lucky the 2008 Legacy that I had Spec B has those creature comforts. So it's got like navigation. It's old school, and it's got heated seats, leather, electric. Everything is good.
The Jetsons kind of thing.
It's better. And then it's got it's a manual transmission. Like it's everything I want. In a vehicle. Now I don't drive it as much because kids life, but it's there. It's ready for me whenever I want to take it out on the weekends by myself, whatever the case is.
So it's kind of like I'm thinking a collector. It's kind of like that.
It's probably
not like Jay Leno. Where
I can't afford those cars. This car is like super cheap compared to that. But it's kind of one of those things that I'll probably just end up keeping forever. I know it's not going to, again, it's like my tennis shoe collection of tennis shoes.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you.
Not worth anything to anybody but me, right? And I think that's the same thing with the vehicle. It's not worth anything but
that's a good
passion, but it's a passion though, right?
Yeah,
because it I think the part of the passion is the nostalgia of it and remembering, having those memories for those things, right? So like the memories with the vehicle, the car I had from 2008, I had it new to 2012, right? It's like. That's what I remember. And I want to keep that memory alive. And that's how you do that and that's part of passion.
Yeah. Well,
same with shoes.
It really is. And I mean, I was going to say, because I kind of wanted to bounce over when you mentioned that about your shoes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that's a passion of yours.
Yeah.
I was not aware of like a long time ago when we first met. Yeah. Then I found out that you had this collection of shoes that you had been collecting over the length of time. And I thought, wow, I don't think I've ever actually run into anyone that had an extensive collection of shoes. And he does have.
I do, yeah. And so like these that are on today, Kobe Bryant's. This was his final All-Star game that he played in.
Wow.
So it has all of his, all of his significant achievements on here. They're all represented here. And these are one I got these like when they were super cheap because again, rest in peace, he was still alive. Got these at the outlet, and another pair. I got a couple pairs, and I was never going to sell them because I'm a Kobe fan.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. This reminds me of his playing career and how great he was. And when he passed, unfortunately, but these ones here are now of course everything skyrockets when he passes, but. Again, these are one of the shoes that, never sell.
So if I was to ask you, just out of curiosity, what would you say your collection of shoes that total number of shoes that you have?
Total?
Yeah.
A few. I mean,
See,
it's not that many. I mean, compared to like other
many.
people that really collect, I have a lot of tennis shoes and things like that. I used to have a lot more. Just randomly, I would just buy stuff, right?
Okay.
Now it's a little more curtailed to just say, okay, what do I really want? I'm not going to just spend money to spend money to get things, just to say I have them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what does it mean to me now?
Okay.
Or do I really need to use it?
Of the passion in that regard is more of what it has, what kind of meaning it has.
Kind of meaning it has. Yeah. And it always has been.
Again, there's that growth of change.
Right.
And the passion.
That's it. Yeah.
The way the passion is.
Again,
in that.
Yeah, because before I used to just be like, oh, I'm just going to go buy this because I can buy it.
Okay.
And I have it. Oh, it's cool. And then now it's like, okay, those are all gone. Those shoes are given away or donated. And now it's like the core of what I really want: the tennis shoes, the Kobe's, the ones that have the meaning to me is what I have. So that's why I don't say I have a lot. It's a lot for sure. It's just, whatever it is, it's the tennis is what I have.
I would say in relationship to my collection of shoes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, that's correct. 100%.
But I can appreciate that kind of a passion because I mean, a lot of times we walk through our life and we don't necessarily think about the things that make us passionate about, and we can have various passions. And I would think, and they could be from anything from family, outings or things that, going, I'm passionate about taking a trip with my family, my kids, spending time, those kinds of things like that.
For sure.
That I think that sort of drives the passion that, we all sort of experience in the run of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm passionate about meeting new people.
Yeah.
And having new experiences,
right.
Going to new, places, that kind of thing right there. I always think of what would be the experience. And I remember, we once traveled to Hawaii and it was, a great experience.
It was.
I mean, and I remember that. And so I want to go back and experience it for the next level. It's like level A. It's like, okay.
Now level B?
Level B. It's
level
like,
B?
What is level B going to be like compared to level A? Because we had such a great time when we did do that.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, now how do we sort of take that up?
How do you replicate it, but then
take it up a notch?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Hawaii trip was great. I mean, what made it so good? What do you think?
Well, first off, number one, you guys. I mean, it was just like
the company.
The company was great, was there, and then then it was like all the places that we had gone to, and when we did it together. So and you knew sort of the way around, so it made it even greater because we didn't have to try to ask anybody. We figured it out. We had a GPS thing that got us there.
That's right.
And so that made and so traveling there was because all of us were in the car together. It wasn't like, oh, this is drudgery. It was like an adventure every day.
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
Remember, we had to like Tetris it in the vehicle because we didn't have enough room.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
That was from the start.
Was a big thing. What was that? A Suburban or a Tahoe? Tahoe.
Yeah, it was a Tahoe.
It was a Tahoe.
We needed a Suburban.
Yeah, we got
either that or Expedition. I would say.
Oh, Expedition.
Expedition.
Or just like those 15 passenger van things. Okay. We needed one of those.
No,
we did. It was like we had 8 people, right?
Yeah, we did.
Plus luggage.
And the luggage,
that was a killer.
That was the part that was trying to get around in that part.
But you're right though. I think that was a great time.
Well, I would say that we talked about this, and we still have yet to do it. Going to New York City again, because we both have been there at 2 different times, and we have not gone there together. And I'm thinking that that'd be
fun.
Yes, I think that would probably be New York City. Too.
That would be the next level.
Yes,
that would be fun.
And do that because I think that to do it now, sort of with your perspective and my perspective on things, and put that together, it's like, okay,
We could show like what we did, like what you did in your first round.
Absolutely.
Show us what you did. We'll show you what we did in the first round.
That's a great level to go. So that, I think, sort of in the context of even Hawaii, from the far west to the far side of the east of the United States.
The U.S., that's right.
Yeah. So
that would be fun.
That would be passion to do that.
Travel with especially together with people that you love to hang out with. Well, I think that's key.
Really, I mean, how do you beat that?
Yeah, you can't.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, so that's kind of one of our next adventures when we get a chance to do that together. So.
That's right. That is.
One of the things that I find too is, for passionate for me, is growth, my personal growth.
Okay.
Things that, I probably would say that I'm the hardest on myself.
Hardest critic is yourself.
I am. And a lot of times, folks that know me, they're thinking that you're like very
intense
or particular. That kind of thing.
I got you.
And only because, I sort of expect certain things of myself.
Yep.
In that. And so I meet these sort of challenges to sort of see, how do I grow in that?
Okay.
And being the best person that I can be, to my surrounding, to my family, to friends, and to people that I just meet. How do I be the best person I can be? And I think as I've gotten older, that I find myself, I wouldn't say less intense, but probably
you've mellowed out.
Yeah, I would say that is
just through your experiences, right?
I would say that it kind of goes to that, and so I find myself sort of saying, okay, people get sort of intense when driving, and you can see that in the day. And I'm passionate about driving a really nice vehicle that can perform when you need it.
Yep.
I don't need to necessarily.
You need to show it off.
I don't need any of that. But if I have to come to a certain situation where you have to sort of accelerate, I like that vehicle to be able to perform in that capacity.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm passionate about that kind of thing, and it's like in the experience of the inside and the outside.
The comfort now,
the comfort
right?
in that.
It's all about the comfort now. You're always inside.
Yes.
Like, who cares what the outside looks like? As long as you're comfortable
the inside. And then music. It's got a good stereo system inside. I'm passionate about hearing the music
and the right tones and frequencies and things like that.
So,
very cool.
Tell me something else that you,
other passions, right? Not just for me, but you walk through different stages of your life.
Okay.
So there could be a work passion.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you're working, again, 40, 50 years of your life, potentially, right? So you could have that. Hopefully there's a passion for what you do.
Yes.
Not everyone does have a passion for what they do, which again it's okay, right? Whatever your situation that you're in. But I hope that people can find some type of passion
within what they're doing,
and what they're getting paid for, because that makes it easier, and it makes the time go by faster, all that stuff, that I'm sure you can elaborate on.
Would you say that someone that is doing what they're passionate about in life as a job, would you say that is something that's kind of rare for a lot of people?
I think it's rare for a lot of people. Okay. Right. I just, if I would say, am I passionate about my job?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm passionate about my job.
Okay.
I like it though. Okay. Right. I really do like it. I love what I do. I love the people I work with, and, the company I work for. Right.
Okay.
But I can't say as that's my passion. Originally getting out of college, I didn't know where was going to land. Business degree, could be anything. Fell into logistics, and then now I'm in that. I've been doing that for 20 plus years, and it's maybe not a passion. Now, it could turn into a passion.
Correct.
But for me, right, that's all I've known.
Okay.
So is it a passion, or is it just all I've known? And I'm an expert in that field now.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, in that, maybe there's something in the logistics arena that sort of at least gives you some sense of passion in it,
right?
Even though it may not be the whole totality of that,
right?
And I would say that, I mean, I've done different experiences over the course of my career and life, and
tell me about some of those.
Well, I would start out at a very young age, and I would say this: I loved buildings. I don't know, and I think my mom sort of steered me in the direction of understanding, architecture, because I didn't know. I mean, I remember driving through, and I think I mentioned this in an earlier episode about the architecture of cityscapes.
Yep.
I think that's where I think most of the major cities, I like sort of the architecture of the tall skyline.
Yep.
And I remember at 2 years old, looking out the back, and at that time we didn't have to have seatbelts on.
Oh, okay.
And I remember getting into the sort of the back window of the car, and my dad would always, he changed cars every year. He wanted a new car every year. And so in this car, I remember getting into the back window, kind of leaning back and just looking up as we're going through the downtown area. And I remember the city being Nashville, Tennessee, and they had kind of a skyline of a few tall buildings compared to smaller towns.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at that thinking, so, wow, look at that, and then looking at the freeway, the interchange, the highways.
Right. How it's structured.
Everything. And I found myself sort of amazed by the structure aspect of these buildings. Mm-hmm. And it never left me. I mean, even to today, I still look at skylines, and it's amazing to think about the engineering and the structure and, that goes into that. And I found myself passionate. I went through school, trying to figure out, one of the things that I would cut back to in high school, and I took this advanced it was an advanced architectural drafting class, and not everybody took that class. But the instructor was one that he says, "I'm going to challenge this class here, and we're going to segment ourselves into different sections of building this house."
Okay.
And we did this. I remember being on the flooring section of the house, and we really built this major size. I would say the size of the model was maybe 1/5 of the size of a house.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, but it was put together with we did all the pieces, from the wiring, the lighting, the walls, everything.
Wow.
So by the time it was said and done, we had this whole entire house with all the studs,
wow.
Yeah, it
fully
was
functioning.
Totally.
You could,
it was a model size house.
Right, that's cool.
So it had the plumbing. I remember that because I could handle clay, that I built the bathtub for the house to the size, scale model down, and that we had the plumbing and everything in this, and I had built the scale size. And I was really passionate about this. Oh my gosh,
wow.
It was like an experience. And at the very end of it, I remember it being showcased in the yearbook.
Okay.
Because it was one where it was several of the classes all sort of building certain sections of this house.
Yeah.
To do this. And we all had to do all the drafting for each part of this. Wow. So that it was a real complete. And it was such an undertaking that I was amazed even at the instructor having this sort of foresight to do this. And it led me on to, my passion in architecture. But I didn't want to stop at architecture.
Okay.
Because I thought, how do you design furniture? How do you design clothes?
Oh.
And so that kind of started me in all these directions. And I think the passion that sort of superseded all of that was the design of it.
Okay.
The creativity of it.
Yeah.
From architecture to automotive design.
Right.
And I wish I could have done all of it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have. The school that I learned that at that time when I got out of college was the Art Center here in Pasadena.
Okay.
And it was turning out some of the top designers for automotive design and product designers that were designing the products and the things that we were like experiencing daily.
Yeah.
And my passion was really in that. And so I got a chance to know some of the guys that were doing some of the earlier designs for Apple computers.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, and I thought, if I could do that architecture, I could build homes, I could design clothes, I could do it, all of it.
Yeah.
I was like totally
that
there.
was it.
Yeah. And I think my mom sort of saw this earlier in my life, and she introduced me at the first stage in 7th grade. She said, I think there's a class or course that is called drafting.
Okay.
And I thought drafting, and I thought then draft, when you mentioned the word draft, it was like going into the military.
Going into the military, yeah.
And so I thought drafting. Yeah. And she said, no, it's something. So she sort of turned me into that direction, which I found out Frank Lloyd Wright and some of the great architectural designers that were
amazing.
Out there, sort of, yeah. And so it sort of took that passion to another level compared to what I used to like construction. And I remember as my son was growing up, Bob the Builder.
Oh, Bob the Builder, yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but he used to like to watch that. So I would watch that with him as he was young growing up, and I sort of got the understanding of the construction because I liked that stuff when I was little.
It was fun.
You know, it was part of my idea of building homes and things like that I saw that I thought was quite fascinating.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so you open up a can of worms when you ask me passion on that. So.
No, but that's great to hear, and that it's. I think it's important for other people to hear that these passions have been especially with you, since you were very young.
I remember that, and it didn't. It grew.
Yeah,
but it didn't really change. It's just it sort of expanded. I got other pieces that I found. I mean, I drive, and I know some people will probably think this is strange, but I look at the structural interchanges on the freeways.
Oh, really?
And it's fascinating to me. One they were building on recently here, I think they're coming towards the ending of it. It's on the 91 freeway, and it's the 71 interchange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes, it's a major
one.
Engineering undertaking. Yeah.
I mean, that's
and
been
the thing, too,
years,
that sort of, that, when you think about a seismic active area, such as Southern California, or California for that reason, to be able to design so that these structures can kind of withstand a magnitude of 7 and still be standing.
Massive earthquake.
Yes.
That's like a massive earthquake.
It's you have to think about the minds behind this, calculating the structural loads and things like that. I started to get into that sort of thinking. I'm thinking, okay, well, I can go nuts, and so
that's
passion. I still find that to be
that's really cool.
Quite invigorating to me. So
very
I know.
Cool.
But other than that, I mean, meeting new people, traveling to new places.
Traveling is great.
I'm passionate about seeing historical places.
Okay.
Just to actually think, oh my gosh, that really, we read about this, but that happened
here. Yeah.
That
is.
And so I think we've got places here in this country that I really would like to see.
Okay. Like what?
And, I got a chance on a business trip to Boston.
Okay.
And while there, I saw a few places that I thought in Boston that I thought I would like to come here and spend some time to see. I would like to go to the Smithsonian Institute to really see some of the displays that they have there.
Yeah.
I have yet to, and we may have to do this here, the Getty Museum.
You haven't gone to the Getty Museum?
I have not. I've gone
the old one and the new one?
I have not gone to either. Either.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I started one time, and it was so crowded that I turned.
You stopped.
I stopped, and I thought, okay, I'll go on a different time.
That's funny. Yeah. I think we've been to the, I don't know if the kids have been to the Getty yet. The new Getty. I know I say new, it's not new anymore, but the one up the hill.
Yes.
Not the old house. Not the old house.
Yeah. Have you gone to the new?
We have. I don't know if I don't think the kids have been. I know. Melissa and I've been there. Several times. So it's always a good trip.
I mean, it's, oh my gosh. I mean, you could be there forever in a day, and I've just been waiting to have that time that I can.
Okay, we got to schedule time for the Getty because it's not far from us. It's free. You just have to book.
I know, just to get up there.
Time to get up there. It's free. So
that's what I'm saying, that I started to do that, and I thought, okay. But in any case,
awesome.
That's just a few of our passions here that we want to share, and wanted to share with you guys on that. I'd love to hear some
of yours. Yeah,
exactly. You'd hit us up with some thought on some of the things that we've talked about, and we'd love to hear what your journey has been.
Yeah.
We're going to close here with kindness.
Okay.
Kindness 101. I always say that because Kindness 101, they sort of display, what folks are doing in a kind sense.
Yep.
And I think it's something that we like to see more of. And I would love to challenge each and every one of you to just do one act of kindness.
Small favor, small act.
Absolutely.
Big differences in people's lives.
It's like sometimes, we see someone that is having a tough time out. Maybe they're homeless. And maybe it's stopping and saying, you're going to go and buy a meal. I remember my wife and I did that one time. We just decided, we saw this person out, and we decided that we were going to go in, and we didn't ask them anything. We just went in and purchased a meal at like a Burger King or something.
Yeah.
And then came out and handed it to, and the look on their face was in disbelief. Somebody thought enough about them that they bought something for them.
Yeah.
And it made me feel good that, that we were able to sort of just do something kind for that person.
Yeah.
So,
that's great. Yeah. And just anything doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend money.
No,
you can just do
simple hello sometimes is
hello,
all that.
Goodbye.
That
Thank you.
Exist.
You're welcome. Hold the door. Yeah. Things like that.